Hi, welcome to block 21 of June Mini Madness. So this is the end of our third week. I hope you're having a good Sunday. This block is the Ohio Star block. We're going to be making 4 quarter square triangle units. So you will need 2 2¼ inch of your red fabric, which I'm using blue on this one, and then 1 2¼ inch square of fabric of a light fabric, which would be blue for the red, white, and blue version, and 1 of your background fabric. So these are all 2¼ for your 3½ inch unfinished block, 3-inch finished, or 3¼ inches for your 6-inch block, which is 6½ unfinished. So if you're squaring up, make sure you add that extra ½ inch for your seam allowances. I like to remind you of that every once in a while. So 3 inches is your finished size once your blocks are sewn into your quilt. So anyway, onwards, you will also need background squares. You'll need 5 of these, and they'll be 1½ inches for your 3-inch block and 2½ inches for your 6-inch block. So I'm going to set those aside for now because we're going to need to use our cutting mat, and we're going to do some tricky little piecing here. We're going to make these the same way we made yesterday's unit, but we're doing 3, there's going to be 3 colors in each unit. So it's going to be interesting for you to see how this works. So we're going to sew your background and your contrasting one. Let's put those on top. That'll make it easier. So you'll put the fabric that you have 2 squares of goes on the bottom. So you'll sew the fabric that you have 1 of to each of those, if that makes sense. I think you can see where I'm going here. So we're going to do the same thing we did yesterday. We're going to mark a seam line down the center of each diagonal. We're going to sew 1/4 inch from each side of those. Kind of a faint line there, so hopefully I'm sewing straight. These are nice to chain piece. That really is a faint line there. It really helps to mark a line that you can actually see. All right. So we're going to cut these in half. And if you like, you can definitely sew these like regular half square triangles. You don't have to draw the line and do all that. If you would prefer to cut them and sew them as regular half square triangle units, that will work just as well. So you're going to have 2 triangles with background, and you're going to have 2 triangles that we're going to press toward the main fabric on both of those. So you're going to have 2 with your background and 2 with your contrast fabric there. So we're going to put these on the bottom, and then we're going to put these on the top. And you're going to make sure that your main fabric is opposite, which is easy to do if you've got your seams pressed in that direction. So we're going to do the same thing on this. You're going to match the corners and nest the seams. And You can draw a line or you can cut, whichever you prefer. Drawing a line is kind of nice because you don't have to handle the smaller pieces as much. So I'm going to sew 1/4 inch away. And you'll notice these are a little smaller than yesterday's units. So too much stuff here. I don't think we'll need that pencil anymore, so that can go. Okay, we're going to cut those in half. So for these, if you like, you can even trim down your seam allowance a little bit to reduce the bulk. So you could make your seam allowance like just about there. Make it a little teenier. All right, so these we're going to press away from your background. See how small those are? So these should measure 1.5 inches. So they are small. We are definitely in miniature territory now. So I hope you are still having fun after dealing with this. Okay, so we want these to be 1.5 inches, and mine are a little oversized, so you're going to line them up. This time 3/4 inch is how big this half of a block is. So I'm going to trim up these other pieces, and then I will be back and we'll assemble the block. All right. So we're going to lay these out with your contrasting fabric going toward the center of the block. And then your background fabric will fill in all the empty spots here. And then it's just a matter of sewing them together. Okay, so we're going to press these seams toward the background fabrics. think I'm going to go back and see if I can tighten up these couple seams here. I'm wondering if maybe my center square is a little off there. But anyway, I think I will probably go back and try to tighten those up a little bit so I get a better, but it's nice. You see how you get this square in the center and the points are on the edge? That's your Ohio star block, block number 21. It's the end of 3 weeks, and ahead we go. We're getting there. Just 9 more blocks to make. See you tomorrow. Bye.